All right, title of this story is Screw You and Your Cake. Trigger warning, cake was harmed. Starting off on a great note here. The company started out being family-owned and treated the employees great. Casual dress code, easygoing. I was young and it felt more like going to hang out with friends versus going to work. I was a shift supervisor at the start, and as I said, all the calls got answered, work was completed on time, and everything was very laid back. The last family member died during my 6th year, and a new board of directors / CEO took over, and everything went corporate overnight. Button-down shirt, dress pants, no sneakers. Other than Fridays, I guess jeans and sneakers on a Friday doesn't lower the stock price. The team I managed was all tech support, non-customer facing, so forcing them into dress shoes and dress pants seemed dumb. This was the start of my disgruntled nature. One of our CEOs who had an office in our building was so petty he would sneak into the call center on the weekends when the rest of the office was closed, take off his shoes so as to not make noise, and in his stocking feet, sneak into the back door of the call center to look under desks and make sure no one was wearing sneakers. Then complained to me and my manager when he found somebody. Another fun petty fact, I started pouring water on the kitchen floor by the call center back door so he could step in it with his stocking feet and just shrugged it off as somebody must have spilled something when he bitched. I got a new manager. He was vastly untechnical and micromanaging, a very, very annoying man. He was also very, very passive. He'd do something stupid. I'd yell at him face to face in his office, and he would say nothing after sitting down at my desk 10 feet away from his office. I would get a strongly worded email about our interaction. Along with the new corporate overlord changes, the company got super cheap unless it was managers' meetings or special occasions where they could put on the public appearance of being a family-friendly place to work. Cue the company's 10-year anniversary. All the bigwigs came down to our office and flew in from other states. They have a huge sheet cake that was the name of the company and 10 years written on it. It was sitting unguarded in the cafe, and as I was walking through, I noticed nobody was around. Grabbed a knife from the table and cut out a perfect square out of the middle of the cake, and I ate it with my bare hands. I nearly choked trying to eat it so quickly, worried somebody would come into the cafe. Imagine that Heimlich maneuver. Hey, what's he choking on? Stolen cake! I washed my hands quickly of frosting and flee. A few minutes later, our CEO, flanked by his cronies, came storming through the call center, yelling that he wanted to know who ate the cake. They had a professional photographer who was going to take a photo of all of them behind the cake for the local newspaper, and now the 10 years had a huge chunk of the company name is missing. I sat quietly and said nothing. In fact, this is the first I've spoken about this in 15 years. F you and your cake. End of story. Yeah, you definitely get the petty confetti for that one. You get the petty confetti for sure. Not the, you know what? I feel like I should be mad about this because a cake was harmed, but it was, it wasn't sacrificed. It was for a good cause. And she ate it. It's not like if she had cut a square out of the middle and threw it in the trash, I'd be pissed. But she cut that square out of the middle and ate it. And if they're having a professional photographer come take a picture of this for the paper, guess what? Photoshop can fill that void back in and make it part of the cake again like that. No big deal. So there is actually a really easy solution to it there, and it isn't as much pain as the CEO is writing it up to be or is portraying it to be here. It is all just, much ado about nothing. It really is. The only harm that was done here was pissing off the CEO. And it sounds like, as petty as this guy is, he deserves to be pissed off, and he deserves to be faced with a problem that he can't fix. If he's petty enough to sneak into the office on the weekends when only the call center is there and to look under the desk to make sure nobody's wearing sneakers in a call center, who he reminds me of, especially when OP talks about him being flanked by his cronies as they were walking down the hall. The boss in Christmas Vacation. The boss in Christmas Vacation, who doesn't even remember anybody's name. He's like, put the gift over there with the others, and they all look the same. That's who this guy reminds me of, and he got his too. So what does that tell you? Also, man, if this CEO of a company is willing to come in here and do that on a weekend, like if that's where his focus is, this company can't be doing well. That's not bottom line focus, right? That's not big organizational change. That's not keeping an organization healthy. That's just being super controlling and super petty. And it's very distracting for everybody. Oh yeah, you know what? 15 years ago, you're right. 15 years ago, Photoshop wasn't what it is today. I still could have done it. You could rebuild that and make it look real easy. Easy. You could do it. 15 years. Yeah, it was around. It just wasn't what it is today with like adaptive fill and that kind of thing. It doesn't matter. You could rebuild it. Definitely could rebuild it. Cake was still edible. Yeah. It just had a hole out of the middle. That's it. So even though Cake was harmed in this, but yeah, I'll give you the applause here, OP. I like it. It's worth it. And you enjoyed the cake. You didn't throw it away. It was for a good cause. And you know, it's 15 years later. I'm assuming nobody ever got busted for it. So he just had to deal with the cake, or just took a picture without the cake or something. Yeah, that micromanaging is rough. And it's not even productive micromanaging. You know what I mean? It's like about stuff that legitimately has no bearing. If anything, it is micromanaging on the thing that makes your employees, your teammates, your team members less comfortable and thus less likely to do their job well. So why?